please help me in giving a big hand to also running in New York 21, congressional candidate Matt Putorti.
How's everybody doing? Being warm? Thank you very much for being here, and thank you to the Saratoga-Warren-Washington Progressive for organizing this vigil for democracy. Before I talk about January 6th, I want to go back to a happier day, Election Day 2020. On that day, I was volunteer poll watching in Detroit, Michigan. Around lunchtime, a woman showed up at my polling place who appeared either to be going to work or on break from work. She was wearing an apron, she had a Wendy's visor on, and she was having trouble finding her polling place. Ours was the second she visited, and unfortunately it wasn't the correct one either. She didn't have time to wait to help us figure out where she was supposed to go, but she said she would try again later. I didn't see her again, but I hope that she was able to cast her vote. She was trying so hard to show up for our country. A few months later, I watched, as you all did, as elected officials lied about the election. Lies that led to January 6th and a violent insurrection on our Capitol and an attack on our democracy. Why? 5 police officers died during the assault and its aftermath. Countless more are still suffering from the trauma that took place. Around 3 p.m. that day, my mother texted me, "What can we do about our country?" What Elise Stefanik did was head to the House floor and vote against certifying the election. Against the backdrop of violence, she chose to double down on her loyalty to Donald Trump. And now, Elise and her GOP allies are trying to downplay and rewrite what actually happened a year ago. I grew up in this district, home of Fort Drum, the largest percentage of veterans in the state, and I know the true love of country that people here have. It is disrespectful to this deep patriotism that anyone would go along with a big lie, especially after this kind of attack, simply to gain personal political power. So, the answer to my mother's question, what can we do? Well, first, my mother, who was a lifelong registered Republican, switched her party registration that day. Yes, give it up for my mother. A small but important victory.
Good start.
But we also must do more. We must pass the Freedom to Vote Act and the John Lewis Voting Rights Advancement Act. We have to stand up and point out every single time that craven politicians are willing to sell out our democracy for their own ambition.
Yes.
And then we have to make the case to everyone throughout this district that all of this is much bigger than partisan loyalties. Because it's also about core kitchen table issues, like getting lead out of our pipes, fixing our roads and bridges, bringing high-speed internet to every corner of the North Country. And at the end of the day, we here can agree that it is not acceptable for our current representative to have met what happened on January 6th with a cynical strategy to get more power for herself. So what can we do? Vote her out. We also pass legislation to protect our democracy and make sure that everyone can vote. We don't give up on talking to our neighbors, and we hold any politician who went along with a big lie accountable and defeat them at the ballot box. I'm looking forward to working with you to do that. Thank you very much.